All right, hey, it's Rob, and I thought I would do 10 reasons why I will never sell my CD collection. Uh, I've seen a couple other videos like this. Maybe some of my reasons are similar to what you've seen before if you've seen other videos like this one, or maybe you're trying to convince yourself whether to sell your CD collection or not. And maybe this will tip the scales in the direction of keeping what you got, because I've got 10 reasons right here that'll explain to you why I am hanging on to my vast collection. What you saw in the beginning as I just panned across was not even the whole, gamut of my CD collection. It's a sampling of it, but I'll estimate maybe at this point that I've got, I don't know, 8 to 10,000 discs. I mean, I've been collecting CDs since 1986. So we're talking almost 40 years at this point. It's hard to believe. I still think of CDs as a new thing. But in fact, they've been around a long time. And before I get into 10 reasons, I will just start by showing CD number 1. This is The Cure, Staring at the Sea, the singles that I bought in 1986-ish, and still have to this day. Still plays just fine. I know it's an older CD. I'm sure you can't see it, but I did put green marker on the outside, which they said at some point was supposed to help. But I don't know. Maybe it did, because almost 40 years later, this thing just, keeps on trucking. Still playing just fine. All right, we'll get into the reasons now. This is reason number 1. Why I will never sell my enormous CD collection. Number 1, it's the last physical format. Nothing is ever going to replace it. It's, the end of an entire way of listening to music. That's all there is to it. Nothing's going to come along that is ever going to have, this singles collection by The Cure on some other physical format. This is it. This is the end of the line. I mean, I've got a lot of obsolete formats in this house. I've got wax cylinders. I don't have anything to play them on, but I've got them. I've got an old Victrola from 1913. I've got everything from reel-to-reel, 8 tracks, of course, cassettes. I was big on mini disc for a while. I've even got a laser disc player behind me, things I never had when I was a kid that I've picked up along the way. But like I said, they still make vinyl, etc. But this is it. This is the end of the line for physical formats. If you want to physically own the item, hold it in your hand and make a silly YouTube video about it, this is the only way you're going to do it. And, in my opinion, overall, it's really the best format that is available to us. Of course, people will say vinyl is great, it sounds warmer, etc. But for these 10 reasons I'm going to list, my feelings are that, this is really still the way to go. Even though everyone has moved on from CDs, and, you talk to a lot of people who will say, I don't even have a CD player anymore, which, finally my new 2022 Ford truck doesn't have a CD player. So it's the first time I've experienced that in many years. And I'm already looking for a way to put CD into the truck because I just miss playing them. All right, number 2. CDs are easily converted to other formats. My records are always in really good shape. My records are always clean and, for the most part, pop-free because I never played them. I would get a record and immediately I would dub it on a cassette, and I would just listen to the cassette in the car or at home or whatever, and I would never play the records. So my records are in great shape because I consider them an archival format. And be that as it may, I think CDs are the ultimate archival format. And I'll get into reasons why I think that's true as we go on here. But basically, CDs are great because they are easily converted to other formats. It is easy to put this on your computer and play it throughout your house on Bluetooth or, whatever other type of way you have to stream music at home. It is easily converted to files that can go on a thumb drive that you can put in your car. In my new truck, I can put thumb drives in my car and I can play, thousands of songs off a little chip that's the size of my finger or whatever, and that's amazing. But, for me, I still don't trust it. I think it can get corrupted, it can get wet, something can happen, and all that stuff can go away very quickly. These just tend to hang in there, and I feel like, for as long as I'm going to be around and able to hear music, CDs are still going to be able to deliver the goods. So that's number 2, that you can convert them. You can listen to them in other ways, and you can just file these away as kind of an archival copy that, of course, you can play anytime you want, but you don't actually have to play them. You can just hang on to them and enjoy them from afar. All right, number 3. CDs contain music you will never find online, although, it might even be the vast majority of at least popular music, rock and roll, whatever, jazz, blues, whatever, popular forms of music are around and have been around. Maybe most of that is on streaming at this point, but it's not going to be everything. I buy a lot of these special editions. This is one of my favorite records ever, China Crisis, their debut record, and it has an entire disc here of demos. It's just not online. It's not going to be online. You're going to have lots of multi-disc packs like this, which are re-releases of original records with extra discs, extra content, and it just doesn't make it to the streaming services, so you're just not going to have it. Just a fact of life that, everything is not going to always be on a streaming service. You can go beyond that and say, even if something is on a streaming service, next week it might not be on a streaming service. We all know Neil Young got fed up and took all his music off there, so what do you say? Well, I just don't listen to Neil Young anymore, forget him. I don't want to do that. I love Neil Young. So even though this China Crisis record that you've probably never heard is on a streaming service, maybe tomorrow it won't be, or maybe the entire service will shut down. Who knows? Anything is popsicle in this world, and the fact that I can hold that in my hand and know that I can play it instantly whenever I want to, that has value to me. All right, number 4. CDs are easy to store. Let's see, can I do this? There's Pylon. Look at that. They'll stand up by themselves. So they're easy to store. They will lay on a shelf nicely. You can also store them like this. Records, you don't want to really do that. They'll warp or whatever. But CDs can be stored in either direction. And they will easily, because of their shape, take up the smallest amount of room possible while fitting, dozens of them on a shelf or whatever. And they're just easy to deal with. They're easy to put in a box. They always, kind of fit in, lay flat, take up whatever space is there. Just the design and the size, they are easy to transport, easy to store. They're easy to move. I've had boxes of CDs and they don't weigh nothing, but, take a box of 100 albums and try to pick it up. It's terrible. It'll make you want to sell all your vinyl once you move 3 or 4 times. But CDs, it's just, not the same. They just don't have that heft and that weight and that size. And, you can put a lot of them in a small space and still carry them around pretty easily. All right, we're on number 5. All right. Number 5, CDs include artwork, booklets, other stuff. Who knows what can be in there? But again, you're not going to get that online. Here's my Pylon, and here's a picture in here. I'm not going to show you what that is, but that's an old picture. I tend to store things inside of my... it's nothing bad or anything. It's just a picture of someone. But anyway, I tend to store things inside these CD books, and I just found that in here. Didn't know it was there, but anyway, of course, you get artwork. You get cool pictures. You get a lot of behind the scenes info. You get a lot of, info about the songs and where they were recorded and who's on them and all that stuff, which is just not available normally on a streaming service. Yeah, maybe you can go to a website or whatever. Maybe some of it may be somewhere or whatever. But hey, it's all right here. I can sit and listen to this cool record and read about this cool band and see their cool pictures and see a dinosaur on the cover. It's all a package. It's all one complete thing that I can put in my pocket and enjoy whenever the mood strikes me. Number 6, CDs are easy to care for. Records, we all know they're going to get scratched. They're going to get dusty. They're going to warp. I mean, despite your best efforts, at some point, records are going to get damaged. The quiet parts are going to be scratchy. There's going to be pops. CDs, I mean, you just can't beat putting your fingers on the outside and then your finger in the hole. You never, ever touch the playing surface of the CD. It's perfectly clean. It's perfectly, smooth, free of fingerprints and anything, because I've never had the reason to touch it, other than to just pull it out and stick it in or pull it out of a player. So, again, they're easy to look after. They're easy to care for. Number 7. We're getting through it. CDs are durable. They are long-lasting. Let's go back to The Cure here. 1986, almost 40 years. And I can pop this into my Rotel player behind me. It's right behind me there somewhere. I think the lights are on. And it'll still play. I mean, that's insane. I got this in college. I've been out of college a long time, but this will still play, and I believe will continue to still play throughout the years. I remember once, maybe in the late 80s, I bought a Police CD, and it skipped. It just didn't play, and I returned it and got another copy. Other than that, I mean, we're talking, I don't know, like I said, I'm up around 10,000 CDs, because not only have I stored my CDs behind me and, in their cases, but I also get lazy, and I've thrown away the boxes at some point, and I store them on the spindles. Oh, but that's not enough. I also have lots of these CD notebooks where I store stray discs, and of course I keep the booklets elsewhere. But so between all those storage methods, this place is just overflowing with CDs. Even if I wanted to get rid of them, I don't know if I could anymore. But the fact that they just last forever, as long as you take care of them. I mean, at some point, you probably heard, the CDs, they only last 20 years, or the glue in between the layers separates from the aluminum, and it'll start to get foggy, and they'll stop playing. Maybe that's happened to someone, but it's not my experience. It hasn't happened to me. CDs just, work and keep on working. They are nothing if not durable. Number 8. The tracks are easily selectable, they're scannable, and they're even shuffleable. Is that a word? If you go back, in your history, if you're dealing with vinyl, or you're dealing with, God forbid, 8-track, which you couldn't even rewind, could only be fast-forwarded, you could never find the song you wanted. I mean, you'd have to sit there for, 3 or 4 minutes to finally get to where you needed to go. But even cassettes, even though they were able to scan tracks later on or whatever, it still would take you a couple of minutes to get halfway through the side or whatever. CD, of course, instant access to any track you want. You can go forward, you can go back, you can scan through quickly and, get to a section you want to hear. I even had a CD player, it was a Denon. That used to, I think it was a Denon, that used to repeat a section. You could put an A mark and a B mark, and it would just keep playing over and over again, the same, 30-second, segment of the song that you wanted to hear, which was great. I play guitar, and I want to learn how to play the song, and it would just keep repeating it over and over and over again. But most players, of course, now do not do that. That was kind of a cool one-off feature, but CDs are easily accessible. The songs are just right there. Type in number 8 and you get the song you want. Not as easy with a record. Yes, you can see the groove and pick it up and try to get it to where it's supposed to go or whatever. And again, cassettes or other tape formats, you've got to physically go through, all that tape to get to where you want. CDs are just the easiest just to access. We all got into shuffling our songs and changing the order, and it was a surprise which one's going to come up next. So used to be a big deal back in the day. You can shuffle them, you can scan them, and you can easily access your tracks. Number 9. CDs are portable. Yes, we've gone into that, and they're well protected. If you have a plastic case and you close it, this thing is pretty safe. I mean, I can do that all day to my 40-year-old CD, and it's not going to break and nothing bad is going to happen. You can toss it in your car. You can throw it in your pocket if your pocket's big enough. Whatever it is, unless you step on it or throw it off a building or whatever, it's pretty secure. Vinyl, you just can't say that. The corners are going to bend up. The records are going to, get shelf wear. They're going to get ring wear. They're going to just wear just from, sliding it in and out. It just, clearly it's not the same level of protection that a plastic cover provides. The CD itself is, durable, as we said. And finally, we're there, number 10. Why do I love CDs and will never get rid of them? It is because CDs sound great. They really do. And they'll always sound great. Like I said, if it sounds good today, it's going to sound good in 10 years. Now, people can argue and say that vinyl sounds warmer, and we've heard all that stuff. And yes, a good, clean record with a good, clean, high-quality stylus on a good quality turntable and a good quality system is going to sound good, but not forever. It's going to wear down. You're going to, start to have issues with almost any record unless, you just wear gloves, and I don't know what you'd have to do, but in general, your records are going to degrade over time. Whereas CDs are going to sound great. They're always going to sound great, and the quality doesn't go down. So I think that's going to wrap it up. I don't know what else I can say. I'll just tell you one memory of when I was introduced to CDs. To close this off, I had a guy named Rich. He lived with us sophomore year, which was 85, 86. And he got a hold of, it was a Denon CD player, and it was like he had, traveled to a foreign, planet, and come back with this device. Like, oh, we had never seen anything or heard anything like it before. And if you think about it, if you think of coming from a hissy cassette or a scratchy album or whatever, just to have that perfect silence, to stick the disc in, even the disc itself, was nothing like a record or whatever. It was amazing, that, nothing physically was touching it. It was laser beams. If you had a laser disc, you maybe were somewhat familiar with that format of disc, but I never did. It was for rich people. So I had to wait till I got CDs. But we would sit in his room and listen to this thing called the Digital Domain. Matter of fact, he called his bedroom the Digital Domain. We would sit there in the dark and listen to this sound effects disc, and it was the coolest thing ever. It had a ping pong, game that would go from this side to that side, back and forth, and water dripping and test tones and weird, out there music and spoken words that would echo and bounce around between the speakers. Whatever it was, we would just put that thing on and just be in awe. And, if you live through that, I think, there's still a little part of you that still goes, wow, this is still a really cool thing. 40 years on, nothing is going to come along and replace it. If you want to hold this thing in your hand, if you want to have a copy and know you always have a copy, and if Spotify decides to go out of business or the internet shuts down or whatever, as long as you have power and you can plug a CD player in and have speakers, you're going to be able to hear your music. So, all right, we'll wrap it up there. Thanks for watching, and I'll come back later and talk at you some more. Peace.